Sebastian Welsh, Annabelle Jones, Carmen Wastel and Kip Wastel have decided to embark on an incredible 8,000-mile car journey from China to France. Unbelievably, they're planning to attempt this in a pair of ancient 80-year-old Austin 7s. They're celebrating the 100th anniversary of the famous 1907 Peking to Paris race. They'll travel from China, through the deserts of Mongolia, the steppes of Russia and through Eastern and Western Europe into France. Difficult in any car, but potentially impossible with such primitive machines. The winners of the original 1907 race took 61 days. Will our team do it any faster?
Are they still in one of these containers?
I can hear Sebastian firing up the oxygen and he's about to emerge from the container. Here he comes.
First stop is the Great Wall of China, where the cars were the stars. And just up the road, the first breakdown. Carmen and Kip's Austin is only firing on 2 cylinders, so with a border crossing deadline, their Chinese guide hooks them up for a scary tow. The car is fixed quickly, but progress is still hampered by popularity. Every time the little Austins stop, the crews are mobbed by well-wishers wanting to get a better look, but they slowly push their way east towards Mongolia.
We're just a couple of miles north of the border and I think we're lost. It's supposed to be a tarmac road. And as you can see, there's no tarmac to be seen.
He says it's the way.
But anyway, I seem to be in the minority. And this is Mongolia.
We returned to Zemunud and took directions from the people at the border who were adamant that this is the correct road. So we're back on it, we turned around again and are once again heading north on this track. It is incredible. From Mongolia's one border crossing with China, this is the main road to the capital apparently, and we're covering it currently at somewhere varying between 5 and 15 miles an hour.
Arrived at the station in Erden. The station mistress is trying to find us a room for the night.
Really, you know, we seem to be going over one hill and another, and you think that over the next hill there'd be a building, and there never was. There's just sort of cows and camels and things like that. But we are mightily relieved to be here.
But they haven't got long to rest. Next morning, after a few running repairs, the cars are back on what the Mongolians call a road.
We're now at the Nissan garage in Ulaanbaatar, and unfortunately Kip's got a squeak from his clutch, which he's a bit worried about, so he brought it along to the Nissan garage. What do you know about it, Carmen?
Well, actually the squeak got much louder. It really did, just coming here.
Right.
Yes.
You could always wear ear defenders.
The Nissan mechanics seem to have sorted the clutch, so the 80-year-old machines head west again. Two 80-year-old Austin 7s are driving an incredible 8,000 miles from Peking to Paris. This route was first driven 100 years ago, and our team want to beat the 61 days it took back then. They are now into eastern Russia, and although they're making good time, the cars are beginning to feel the strain. Time for some running repairs.
The front shock absorber needed tightening, so because we're on the harder roads now, so I've come to do it. Unfortunately, the thread on the central bolt is stripped, which is rather annoying. You can just see it's stripped where the arm comes out. You can see I've cleaned it with a wire brush. Hopefully we've got our packed washer.
Soon it's time to hit the road again, and the crews enjoy a rare piece of tarmac. It couldn't last.
Suddenly we have no tarmac. It's déjà vu.
The poor to non-existent road surface is taking its toll on the tyres too, and Sebastian is relieved when he spots a roadside tyre shop.
There are a number of tyres for sale. There's one here for 4,300. However, anyone who is prepared to pay a bit more, say 11,200, can also have tread with their tyre. Well, the tyre's been fixed and being remounted on the car, and the price for that was 60 rubles, which is the princely sum of, I believe, £1.20. It's worth it to save us from having to do it tonight, possibly in the rain, as it's just starting to spot with rain now.
So it's 6:30 on Sunday, I think it's the 10th of June. We stayed the night in Omsk last night, and we're now heading towards Katrinaberg, and hopefully we can get 300 miles there today. What do you think?
Yeah, we'd go for it and get 300 miles in.
Yeah. I mean, one worry we still have is the temperature gauge is reading about 96 to 98. Convinced the temperature gauge is inaccurate, but we have been trying to get a thermometer all the way from Beijing, still without success. But it'd be great if we can find a thermometer today.
Yes, we could. Yeah, it's finding the right kind of shop. A cooking shop would do if motor factors can't help.
Then, just as the crews are beginning to pick up speed, disaster strikes once again. This time, a bit of uneven road catches them out.
Well, I've just snapped the offside windscreen strut. When we approached this bridge, there was a ramp didn't spot, and the car jumped in the air and broke the offside windscreen strut.
Some locals are soon on hand to offer words of encouragement, and they soon set off again with the red car's windscreen held together with sticky tape, some tie wraps and a piece of bungee cord.
So that's fine.
Seb seems confident that this assembly will hold up as far as Kazan, which is our next stop. And I suspect the evening's sightseeing may be curtailed by the need to shore up the windscreen a bit more.
Multiple breakdowns have been slowing down the two intrepid Austins as they battle the 8,000 miles from Peking to Paris. Now they have rain to contend with too. In the distance, they hear a noise. Unbelievably, their paths have crossed with an Australian couple who are travelling around the world in a tiny 1960s Fiat 500.
That's very good.
Yes. I met some very interesting people standing on the side of the road. So many people felt sorry for me.
After comparing stories, the two baby Austins push on through the softest sand they have yet encountered towards the rickety Viatka River ferry.
Bang any second.
Once on the other side and desperate to make up some time, the team pick up speed, only to raise the attention of the local constabulary. Luckily, they are very friendly.
The police are actually filming the cars from their in-car camera, just reversed into the road and filming. The flag was down, not for speeding or anything, but just to have a chat.
Once the police have taken enough pictures to show their mates back at the station, the two Austins are sent on their way towards Moscow. The roads finally become better and the average speed increases. By the time they reach Moscow, Sebastian even has time to represent Britain in a Concours d'Elegance event.
We're at Concours d'Elegance.
В нашей стране, кстати, очень интересная история подобных автомобилей.
This is Victor. Victor, can you tell us what's happening here today in Moscow?
Wonderful day, and the biggest surprise for us. We are crazy about classic cars, and the biggest surprise for us was coming to us the crew of Sebastian and Annabelle, yes, who is taking participation in Beijing-Paris rally. So it's wonderful for us.
Top prize goes to this massive Cadillac Eldorado, but the crew can't help thinking that the battered red Austin is still getting more attention. But if the team are to reach Paris in time, they need to get going.
We're at the Russian-Latvian, almost at the Russian-Latvian border. We just had lunch and it's about 2:30 on Friday the 21st of June.
The crews are leaving Russia behind them at last as they head into Latvia.
We're not sure what to expect. We hope for the separate queue for cars.
And you wouldn't want to be a truck driver on this route unless you were very, very patient. After the vastness of Russia, they're through Latvia in a flash.
So we're at the Latvian-Lithuanian border. So the barrier into Latvia has just been lifted.
Then it's another quick dash through Lithuania and into Poland. At last, things are looking up. The finishing line is finally in sight for our two Austin 7s and their crew.
Monday morning, 25th of June, and we're in Gdansk. So once again, it's time to service the car. Well, that was an interesting spark. So I'll take the starter motor out and have a look. Yeah, the commutator is full of carbon off the brushes. We just need some fuel to clean various bits and pieces, including the starter motor.
The hope is that these final repairs will be enough to get them to Paris. The modern roads in Europe are a breeze compared to Mongolia and Eastern Russia, and the team are now ahead of schedule. Our team originally set out to follow the route of the 1907 road race from Peking to Paris. They've made it in just 45 days, 16 days faster than the winners of 1907. It's an impressive feat for any car, let alone 80-year-old vintage machines. They've travelled 8,000 miles through deserts, dirt tracks, rain and sun, and they've done it, proving that these tiny 750cc cars were the first true super minis.